How does understanding our own literacy narrative aid in your knowledge about the nature of adolescents as readers and writers? This question is essential for English language arts teachers because narratives help us understand ourselves, others, ideas, and the world. Literacy narratives specifically help us explore ourselves as readers and writers and the significance, or as Maya Angelou states, the life-giving power of literature in our lives. Literacy is a vehicle for changing the world, and that begins with humans using language to reflect on and name the world so that they can claim the power to change it. Therefore, understanding one's literacy narrative is a way to reflect on the power of stories and the experiences, support, and beliefs that literacy provides us. For many ELA teachers, our literacy experiences shape our reasons for joining the profession. We teach because if we were adolescents again, trying to gain a sense of ourselves in the world, we know the power that reading and writing had on us. This understanding aids in our knowledge about our students because knowing their literacy experiences informs our instruction. It also influences our classroom because narratives develop a connection between the storyteller and their community. Teachers must view their classrooms as a community that allows students to become those storytellers as they explore the world through reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Unfortunately, the narrative mode of writing has become somewhat marginalized due to the high-stakes testing emphasis on informative and argumentative writing. Admittedly, I was leery about focusing on this mode with my pre-service teachers because of its marginalization. However, according to Fredrickson, Wilhelm, and Smith, narratives help us set a trajectory for our futures, and they are essentially important in helping us explore what is expected of us and how we might want to resist expectation. Due to this, my expectation in learning about and applying the narrative mode in my literacy narrative was to see how narratives could work in the world, especially in my preparation of pre-service English language arts teachers. I want them to identify the ways narratives complement and serve the other modes of writing. In previous composition assignments, I've attempted to have my students write narratives embedded in other modes as appropriate. This is a new objective in the Oklahoma Academic Standards. However, I found that my students often resisted the idea of blending modes because many had the stylistic idea that most compositions should be classified as a primary or single text type. This ideology may come from a misunderstanding of how to effectively use narrative elements, such as first-person pronouns, within argumentative and informative explanatory text, especially since English teachers are notorious for treating the use of the pronoun I as a grammar mistake of death. I know I did. The Common Core standards support the embedding of narrative and blending of modes and even expect it in other content area writing. For instance, in history and social studies, students must be able to incorporate narrative accounts into their analysis of individuals or events of historical importance. In science and technical subjects, students must be able to write precise enough descriptions of the step-by-step procedures they use in their investigations or the technical work that others need to be able to replicate and reteach those same results. This embedding approach isn't new because many composition scholars have been advocating for the blending of writing since 1905. Brooks, Scott Denny, and Tanner. Therefore, the main reason why text types are blended together is to create original and effective writing. Another reason is because skilled writers are better able to accomplish their purposes when they blend these three text types together. So regardless of the mode, writing is often understood as a rule-governed procedure, not a vehicle for change or a truth-seeking practice. According to Jagiellowski, the most basic lessons of schooling have to do with coming to understand who we are as intellectual beings in the world and how we know and relate to the world around us. That should also be the goal for writing instruction, to help students understand themselves in relation to the world. Narrative is the mode that best provides this insight. When teachers are able to demonstrate their knowledge of English language arts subject matter content through reading and writing, we also increase our knowledge of adolescents as readers and writers. One of the NCTE standards focuses on the knowledge of adolescents. Fredrickson et al. Addresses how composing and reading stories can help young people understand the way narrative concepts might help them identify, critique, and ultimately change their world. This is the power of storytelling and why it must be a focus in teaching. Exploring my own literacy narrative allowed me to recall the moments of my childhood that defined me as a literate person. So for adolescent readers and writers, narratives provide a doorway through possibility and change, toward transformation and justice, toward awareness and empowerment. Composing narratives can lead to hope, and there's nothing that our own students seem to want more for themselves. There's nothing that our own world needs more of. It's worth teaching. Therefore, narratives provide the hope that is the power of literacy young people need when they are trying to gain a sense of themselves in the world. When we write, we engage in meaning making that gives us a process for understanding our experiences and the world. Due to my encounter with writing my literacy narrative through the Northwest Arkansas Writing Project, I knew that this assignment could also provide my pre-service teachers with possibilities for awareness, reflection, and inquiry into how literature and writing might have shaped their worlds, and even their reasons for joining the profession. This understanding, I believe, provides a background into who we are as teachers, as well as whom we teach, our students, where we teach, our learning environment, what we teach, our content, and how we teach it, our instruction. Therefore, I took the assignment that I completed and adapted it for my pre-service teachers, students, and their needs. In my literacy narrative assignment, I asked the same question I began this presentation with. How does understanding your own literacy narrative aid in your knowledge about the nature of adolescents and readers and writers? For me, writing my literacy narrative allowed me to tell the stories that shape who I am. Just as scrapbooks archive images and music records mood, books have the power to tell one story. My narrative begins with a definition, a reflection, and the lessons I learned that transcend the page. It is a memory about the role reading and writing played in the development of my identity. It chronicles my childhood and parallels my journey to becoming a teacher. It is a call and a hope that as an educator, I can use my own love for reading and writing to teach others to become perpetual learners.
As an English teacher, I have learned that curriculum may dictate what you teach, but your own love for learning is one of the most powerful traits we have as teachers. May my own students always remember the words of Atticus, the journey of Odysseus, the fated warning of Romeo and Juliet, the relevant truth and history of Animal Farm, the internal conflict of Henry during war, the importance of journaling about poetry, and to take the road less traveled, always. If I were a young person today, trying to gain a sense of myself in the world, I would do that again by reading, just as I did when I was young. The students really do become the teachers, and now that I am a teacher, I am grateful for the opportunity to share the hope, passion, perseverance, patience, and love for learning that my own teachers have shared with me. I am a teacher because they were, and the books I have read thus far have only shown me that there is still much to be written.
And so, as teachers, we need to realize the impact that writing, and more generally, literacy, has had on ourselves and human society, because it will make an impact on the adolescents we teach. Therefore, teachers must provide an assignment that will allow students to become the storytellers of their worlds through reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Thank you.